Um, Look, in a way, I almost feel like this image should start going up and then continue going up, because this is kind of, how it is, right? We get to this point where we are feeling active, feeling motivated, feeling inspired, and things are working well. And then, some of us can even get a little addicted to pushing it a bit further. Having another cup of coffee or saying, I work well under pressure, that type of attitude can take us to this place where eventually we burn out, which is, what we're showing here. Or some others of us are often down on this lower end, tend to be more sleepy, tend to be slow going, find it challenging to kind of get motivated, to get moving in the morning. So, both of these things are important. And actually on the next slide, I think we can kind of see how these things balance each other out. So on this point, on the left upper quadrant, we're talking about high arousal, but high arousal in a way that is quite taxing on the nervous system. So this is our have a cup of coffee in the morning. This is our have a, when we get ourselves in that place where we're worked up and we're working hard and I've got an assignment due tomorrow, and I always, work the best and get it all done when I'm under pressure. That only works for so long. But we can also get ourselves aroused in a way that is good for us. This is our exercise, this is dancing, this is excitement, even sexual arousal. All of these things are on this side where we're talking about our positive, in support of the parasympathetic nervous system, in support of our overall health and well-being. Then we also have here the freeze response, we have depression. These are all in the lower left-hand side of the quadrant. This is low arousal. So, this is when we're feeling sleepy all the time, when we don't really want to do anything. Sometimes we just get in that place where we just want to curl up and be cozy and avoid the world. So the way we balance these things out are with each other. Sometimes we have to do the equal opposite thing on the other side. So for example, if I am a person who's always kind of like running on stress and everything, then I'm going to want to balance that out with these aspects on the right hand lower quadrant. So that is our rest and digest function when the parasympathetic nervous system is being soothed. This is like meditation. This is connecting with the present moment, slowing down, stopping to smell the roses, right? Everybody loves that. But sometimes it can be hard to get to that place. And sometimes even when we are like expecting ourselves to relax, or we put ourselves in that place that feels relaxing, we still have a hard time relaxing, right? We still, and then we can get into that fight with ourselves, like, oh, I'm supposed to relax right now. This is my relax time, and of course, adding that extra turmoil and that extra, spice to the curry mix, it doesn't help at all. So, we want to figure out where we sit in the most times on this chart. I don't know if people want to punch into the chat, like, where do you find yourself usually? Are you upper left? Are you upper right? Once we know what we have a tendency towards, then it's easier for us to say, okay, well, I'm already doing these things. I'm already good at getting exercise. I already go out dancing and all of those things because I'm naturally a person who likes to be active and who likes to do all of these things. So the part that I am maybe missing is like the slowing down, the meditative, the being able to stop and smell the roses, the being able to, get home from work and actually leave work behind, leave it in the office. And hey, a lot of us are working from home right now, so that becomes even more challenging to like let it all go, right? So whereas for some of us, actually naturally we are a little slower, a little sleepier, it's easier for us to be in that place, and it's going to be more of a push for us to get out of the house and go running or go to the gym and activate in that kind of way. All right. So when we think of self-care, and like we said, that's the things that are on this side of the diagram, we have to consider it in a way that comes with a lot of compassion. Self-care should not be stressful. That's really important. It shouldn't be a fight. We don't want to create an internal battle. We don't want to create situations where we're actually making ourselves feel bad because we're not able to, follow through. I had someone say to me, oh, I'm the worst. I can't even relax right. And that's not the idea of what we're doing here, right? We're not trying to like create more reasons to make ourselves feel bad. We have to kind of really come up with a situation that works, and that also knowing that we don't need to be good at something right away. We don't have to have high expectations from ourselves. Sometimes like when I sit down and I want to slow down and I want to do a meditational exercise or something, I'm only able to do 5 minutes. That's fine. 5 minutes is enough. Sometimes I'll turn on like an hour-long sort of video before bed to kind of relax myself. And after 5 minutes, I'm distracted and I don't want to do it anymore. And I turn it off. And that's okay. Even connecting with the present moment for 30 seconds is already amazing. It's already a blessing. I don't know if maybe people want to put some ideas in the chat of what you do for self-care, what works for you. Other people will definitely get ideas from each other. And I would love to know also what y'all get up to, because it's very personal. Like, it says here, develop a personalized and diverse self-care practice. Does eating chocolate count? Yeah, well, sometimes it does. And being alone. Yeah, these are things that are really important. Like if we work in a busy environment, we want to be alone. Some people, love to exercise, but they don't really feel comfortable doing it in the gym, or it doesn't feel relaxing to them to be around a lot of people. So they choose to find a way to still get that same kind of exercise, still get the heart pumping in a positive and supportive way, but without necessarily having to be around a ton of people. Pets are really huge. That is almost just the best kind of unconditional love that you can have, is that relationship with a pet. And yeah, but when we actually get to the point where we realize that this is really important, this is a great point from Kate. It's really hard to practice self-care when working almost full-time and having children. So riding to work is the way I can get some exercise. See, that's like really crucial, right? It's figuring out, how do I fit this into my schedule? How do I make it work? And sometimes we actually literally have to write it in our schedule. Like, we've all got these busy lives. We make everything important. We schedule a meeting. We schedule even like that. We can literally write in our schedule, this is my self-care time. And it's already blocked off. It's not allowed to be filled up with anything else. You know, if somebody says, are you available for a meeting at that time? The answer is no, because that's your self-care time, right? You know, some people have said to me, well, recently I realized that actually getting up an hour earlier in the morning, you know, of course it's cozy in bed and I didn't feel like getting up, but getting up that hour early in the morning really helped me to, you know, feel like I had time to actually take for myself. That's the only time when no one else is up in the house and I was able to, you know, actually slow down. I can't really do that when my kids are up and everything's happening, right? So, you know, we can get creative, but we really do have to make it important. We really do have to schedule it in. So setting realistic goals. Now, this is a big one also. Yeah, it's hard to relax without everything else done. That's actually a really good point, and that actually connects back to what I said before. If we have our self-care time scheduled, then it actually makes it that's one of those things we need to get done, right? So it's like, it is just as important as cleaning up the kitchen and packing away the things. And when it's in the schedule, we're like, okay, right now, I don't have to feel bad for doing all those other things. I don't have to feel bad for, you know, practicing my Tai Chi, because this is in my schedule and this is what this time is for. And I will still get all those other things done. You know, so make it important. And so setting realistic goals, this is a really important part. Now, a lot of the time I'll do something like this. I'll engage in, you know, a class like this or something, and I'll get people coming up to me after and saying, I'm going to meditate every day. You know, maybe that's not a realistic goal to jump from, well, I haven't done it for a few years, so I'm going to do it every day. What about setting a goal to, like, I'm going to do it once this week, and I promise myself to sit for 5 minutes. And maybe after the 5 minutes goes past, you'll do longer. And that's great. You know, it's really, you know, it's really important to not make yourself feel bad in this situation. And actually, you know, Deirdre's kind of bringing that up, makes me anxious about actually winding within that set time, how to balance self-care and not feel like it's a forced task. I mean, I guess when I'm talking about scheduling, I'm also talking about specific things like maybe going to the gym or doing a yoga class or doing a Tai Chi video or something like that, you know. And maybe at first having that in your schedule might feel stressful, but let's say a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by, and if it kind of, if it gets to a point where it just feels like another thing that's in your schedule, then it actually kind of feels natural and it doesn't feel as forced. And, you know, at first these things might feel a bit forced, or you might actually have to kind of like push yourself to do it. You don't want it to feel that way ongoingly, but, you know, it kind of has to start somewhere, right? And or, you know, if you set a specific time, let's say like Saturday between 2 and 6, and it's like a chunk of like 4 hours. This is like my me time on the weekend. I promise that during that time, I'm not going to think about work. I'm not going to open up any emails. I'm not going to do those kind of things. But like Helen says, I'm just going to ask myself, what do I feel like doing? And that could be anything from, you know, going to a park and throwing frisbee to, you know, meeting up with friends, or it could be going and having a big workout, going for a big run, you know, any of those kind of aspects that feel right in that moment. But it's you time. It's 100%. All you're saying by putting that in your schedule is, in this moment, I'm not going to think about work. I'm just going to take it for me. Yeah, I love that. A few options from a self-care basket. That's great. Like, making yourself a little hat, put some things in it. What are we gonna do here, right? All right. So, um, now finding the motivation. Look, when we get into this space, like I said, with setting unrealistic goals, it's very easy to talk ourselves down. It's so easy to be like, oh, I can't do that. And like, I'm not good enough for that and things like that. And it gets even harder. So, when we align with our values and we figure out like, what are the values that I want to be putting into place? Who do I want to be as a person in the world? And, if I feel like fitness is an important value to me, then I can figure out the behaviors that are going to align me with that value. And when I know that I'm doing something that's aligned with my core value, I will have a lot more motivation for it, right? So we kind of have to think a few steps ahead and not just be like, I have to go to the gym, but why am I doing this, right? Like, what kind of intentions am I setting for the future? So yeah, I hope that is helpful. I would like to maybe offer a exercise, a kind of mindfulness-based exercise for everyone to take part in. So hopefully this can be your 5 minutes of self-care, a moment to just switch off, and yeah, so let's see how that goes. When I'm talking about mindfulness, I'm talking about connecting with the present moment. Now, there are a lot of ways in which we can do that, and we can do it while we're washing the dishes. We can do it, when we go for a walk outside, especially. It's a lot easier in nature to, take everything in, to see the seasons changing, to really slow down. But that's not always accessible to us. But our body and the space around us is. So I'm just going to go through a short exercise that kind of touches on a few different aspects of mindfulness. So if you are interested and you feel comfortable, just settle into your chair and really allow yourself to just feel heavy. Like, just let go of the hypervigilance and the need to sit up straight and be alert and be present and be on guard. In this moment, just allow yourself to feel safe and just settle in. There are a lot of invisible forces we fight against day by day, like gravity, and in this moment, just let gravity win. And once you've sunk into your chair, just start to notice your breath. Feel, but like really notice your breath. Feel how it tickles the nostrils on the way in. Feel how maybe it's warmer on the way out. Really notice the effect that it has on the body. The shoulders rising and falling. The chest expanding, contracting. Breathing deep into the abdomen. Sometimes we hold tension here in the digestive system or kidneys. A lot of our stress comes from the adrenals. The limbic system is sending signals saying, we need to worry. And we don't know the difference between having a test due tomorrow and being chased by a tiger. In the body, it's the same thing. So in this moment, we can just breathe into these areas and just kind of let the body know that we're safe. And maybe pushing the feet into the ground a little bit, just flexing the feet and letting them go, flexing a little more and letting them go. Notice how maybe your attention has been drawn into your feet. Or maybe you're feeling distracted and there's other things going on. That's fine. Don't create more inner turmoil. Just let them be. Just breathe into the feet. Focus your attention there, and maybe allow the attention to spread up into your ankles, spreading up into the calves and the shins, breathing into the knees, breathing into the thighs, and just feeling your backside heavy into the chair, really sinking in. Breathing into the hips, feeling how the whole lower half of your body is just settling in. And noticing how just paying attention to these different areas naturally allows them to rest. Again, maybe the distractions are there, just bringing the focus back into the body. Maybe rubbing the hands together, just creating a sensation that draws your attention. You can also do this by rubbing the palms against the thighs and just letting the hands rest, but still focusing on that sensation, that electricity that's being created. And following into the wrists, breathing into the forearms and the elbows, shoulders, the face, just feeling all the micro muscles relaxing in your forehead and behind your eyes, nose, cheeks, and your jaw. How does that feel to just pay attention to the jaw, allow it to rest? And starting to focus on what you can hear. There's the sound of my voice, and maybe there are some other sounds in your space. A car, a bird, the hum of a refrigerator. At first, these sounds are all individual, and then they all kind of blend together into an abstract soundscape as we connect with the present moment through the sense of sound. And opening the eyes, we're taking in space around us, but really taking it in like for the first time. Noticing the colors and textures. Maybe choose an object, but really look at it. Not just what is that object, but what would it feel like to touch it? If I was to describe it, what would the texture be? Would it be heavy? Is it soft? Is it hard? Sometimes if I'm feeling a bit of overwhelm or stress in my body, I'll just choose 4 objects on my desk. Just describe them one at a time. And then once I feel connected to the present moment through my space, then I'll step forward into the rest of the day.